Welcome back to The Focus, where we focus on helping service businesses grow their revenue. And today we have Adi Campuzano with Dedicated Office Solutions, and she's going to share some of her wisdom when it comes to how we communicate as far as answering phone calls, following up on leads, etc. Welcome to the show, Adi.
Thank you, Mario. It's so great to be here with you.
Yeah. I'm glad you can make it on. I've known you for several years in networking, and you've been just killing it, growing businesses and whatnot. And you were on my radar because, when the first impression of a business is typically when you call them or visit their website, and it is 2024. People still are calling. They're not just filling out web forms.
Right.
But it can be absolute death in a business to not answer the phone or to have the dreaded phone tree. Hit 0 for this and hit 0 for that and all these different things. Talk about what the opportunity cost is for a business to just not answer the phone.
It's high. It's very high. And there's a couple of dynamics because we are in 2024 and we're so omni-channel right now that for many years, the only way to reach a business was by calling them. And it's evolved since then, but we'll start with that. Answering the phone is vital to a business. That is your lifeline, because most people just want to pick up and call, and they may be searching you on the web. They may see you on Google My Business, but everything's so easy now to click to call that's the first impression, and that's often your only shot at creating that relationship. So missing those calls is not just one opportunity, it's actually exponential. Either gain or loss, because you can have that opportunity and revenue from that customer, which if you're in, for example, a medical spa, it could be recurring business. Then there's the referrals, there's the reviews, which are evergreen. And so you never know the impact that a great experience with one customer can have on your business.
Yeah, you brought up a good point with the recurring customer, because you could have a med spa, like you said, and we're just calling to book another appointment.
Yeah.
And so if you don't answer the phone, I may just go somewhere else and call another company. And so people don't understand the lifetime value. Sometimes it could be just a bad taste in their mouth, just that one time of, they're in a hurry. We as society, we tend to be overbooked as it is. Yeah. And so who has time to email or follow up? I'll just call the next one down the list. So that's a great point there, as far as the not just the customer service, but the reoccurring that you can lose from that as well.
And every new opportunity has the lifetime potential for reoccurring business, for referrals and all of those things. I mean, I would hope that your existing clientele don't just leave you because you didn't, pick up one phone call.
Right.
But the new business doesn't know you, and they have no loyalty to you yet. So it's really important to get those. And of course, you never know which call it is, if it's new business or if it's an existing client of yours.
Absolutely. And it could be a referral, and then now they have a bad experience. So it's vital to answer that phone, like you said. Now I know when I call a business, I can typically tell if it's an answering service.
Yeah.
There are clues, and you kind of know immediately. And me personally, I feel like this defeated feeling of there's no way it's going to make it to the right person. Knowing you over the years, I know you are diligent in training your team and getting with the business to understand how to sound like an intricate part of their team. Talk to us about how you do that to where it's a seamless transition. I feel like I'm calling Acme Med Spa.
Yeah.
How do you guys do that?
Yeah, and that is, it's so true, because even I'm probably more sensitive to it than anybody else being in the business. What a lot of big box call centers and answering services do is they just put accounts out to the floor. So anybody could get anything at any time and maybe not get it again for another month. But at Dedicated Office, we work in dedicated teams. And so it's always been our concept over the last 24 years to become a seamless extension of the business, and that nobody should know that we're a service. So we assign dedicated people. It's a very small group, and we're here, like we work an extended business day. So there's multiple people to ensure coverage and that there's no outages or people not available because of a lunch break or a sick kid.
Right.
But we have a small intimate group assigned to a business, and they know that business. And repetition being the mother of skill, they're having the experience of taking calls over and over again. But the telltale signs are mispronouncing a name or just not really knowing anything, just being kind of deer in the headlights, shell-shocked. And we train to overcome that so that is not an issue on our side. So we role play every account before launching. The client has a really comprehensive onboarding with our team to set up their FAQs, their services, their verbiage, their script flow, and then our training staff, which is phenomenal, they work with each member of the team to prepare them for day one, so day one doesn't feel like day one.
Wow, I love that. Just the amount of detail that you all take, and like you said, it's in the name, dedicated team to their specific business. That is so good, and I love the fact that you guys kind of on board with the company as well.
Yeah.
What does that process look like? I mean, how long does that take?
Yeah, that's a vital piece of it. So our process is they fill out a simple questionnaire to give us the basics about the business. What do you do? What are your marketing campaigns? Because not only do we answer inbound calls, we do follow up on digital marketing leads, and that's another area that we can chat about, because that's huge in this day and age, with digital marketing being what drives most businesses' growth.
Right.
So during our onboarding, we start out with a questionnaire, and then we book a 30 to 45-minute Zoom with the client. And we preload the information they've provided us into our call center software. So at that time, we're going through all the things we know we need to know. Scheduling protocols, service areas if they're like a home services business, what type of campaigns they are marketing, what specials they have, what services they provide, who their service providers are. For example, if it is a chiropractor office or a med spa, we want to know who to book what type of appointments with. We go through and get set up on their CRM or their EMR, which is like a CRM for medical, so that we can go into their environment and book directly on their calendar, because we have a strong focus on appointment setting. So during the onboarding, we're really getting a feel for that business, who their clientele is, what services they provide, how we're going to book appointments, what their policies are, cancellation policy. Do they allow same-day appointments? Do they want a prepayment? Do they want to reserve appointments with a credit card? So we're getting all those ins and outs and building that into their programming, and then we need a few days to finish the programming and build outside.
Yes.
And when it's done, we present them with Loom video, which is a screen recording of our call center software, and we show them exactly what our team is working off of. So they can see it, we talk through it, they can hear it. If anything strikes a chord that needs to be changed, we edit it, and when it's finally approved, then we go live. So that's our process.
Wow, that's incredible. A couple of things you touched on. So are you all following up on inbound web leads as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Wow, that is crucial, because as you all know in the business world out there, if you're not following up with these leads quickly, then again, it goes right back to the lack of answering the phone. Mm-hmm. And so if someone puts in a web lead, to be able to respond quickly to that is incredible. So you guys are making outbound calls as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And web forms and opt-ins are the new phone call.
Yes.
And so we've been in business for 24 years. So we obviously started out as, more of a answering service, the way we all think of an answering service. Mm-hmm. But we were always different because, like we just discussed, we wanted to become a seamless extension of the business and never have anybody know that we're a service. over the last 6 or 7 years, as digital marketing has blown up, we've also evolved our processes. And a huge part of that evolution was actually my son, who's like a tech genius, coming on board and elevating all of our processes, getting us set up with automation, integration with different CRMs and processes, upgrading our telephony software so that what we are able to do now is when somebody fills out a web form, or if they opt in on marketing through Meta, Facebook and Instagram, or fills out a Google landing page or any type of marketing submission, we automate it and we webhook it directly into our dialing software.
Wow.
Within 5 minutes or less, and it's usually like 2 minutes, we're already on the phone with that lead. So we're dialing them immediately right when it's top of mind. They just filled out the form, and we're on the phone with them, able to acknowledge what they just clicked on, what they just redeemed, and then walk them through the conversational flow that we've designed during the onboarding, and then get them booked for that business.
That's incredible. And it sounds like the contact rate has to be elevated so much, as opposed to, think about people, the account just sitting there, and then the owner has to go and follow up, or somebody else on the sales team and whatnot. And so you guys are just kind of handing them on this gift wrap platter quickly. Wow, that's a really incredible service. And I bet a lot of people out there are thinking about how much money they're losing by not being able to follow up quickly and answer their phones. I bet that's just insane. I'm sure that's a great selling point for you all as far as recapturing some of that falls through the cracks.
Absolutely. So, we started the conversation talking about opportunity cost, but then there's marketing costs as well, because you're pouring money into marketing. Every business knows you have to market, and you need great content on your site, and you need to put yourself out there so people know you exist. But if you don't follow up on leads, you're bleeding that marketing money. So we're here to make sure that people don't lose their investment, but that they can multiply and get an ROI on their investment that's going to be well worth it.
Yeah, and now forgive me if you already mentioned this, but are you following up on these multiple times?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah,
so you have like a whole campaign. Go into that a little bit.
Yeah, so part of the technology that we've built out is a call plan. So as soon as they do webhook into our system, they're now in our environment, and we're set to call. Typically, our standard is calling a total of 8 times. So we call initially, which is immediately. If they don't pick up, which sometimes people opt in during work or during a time that they're unable to speak, but they're still scrolling their phone and, seeing ads, we continue to follow up every 4 hours over the next couple of days. So we're making a total of 8 calls.
Wow.
We're spread out every 4 hours, and the benefit of that is that we're calling at different times of the day. I don't want to call during your 3 p.m. work meeting every single day and then be like, oh, these leads are terrible. So we're calling at different times, and a lot of times it's after work, in the evening, or just throughout the day. So it really increases our ability to connect with people and grab those opportunities to get them secured on behalf of the business.
That is incredible, because as you know, the fortune's in the follow-up. And so people that are just not even getting called or getting called one time, again, those fall through the cracks. I'm sure that you guys are generating, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars more for your clients that they would not be able to do on themselves. Wow, what a valuable service. Now, we talked a little bit about this before. For us in our video content, we really like to work with service businesses, whether it's, you're a professional law firm or you're a plumber or, medical. We like the service type businesses. What kinds of genres, what kind of clients do you all find that you guys work with a lot? Who do you prefer to work with? Who does this work well with? What kinds of businesses do you guys work with over there?
I think that our services also are a great complement to the same clientele as you, which is service-based businesses. A lot of our clientele right now are med spas, wellness, aesthetics. We work with a lot of chiropractors, functional medicine. We do work with home services, roofers, HVAC companies. We do real estate, mortgage, financial services. We work with coaches, marketing agencies, masterminds. We partner with a lot of marketing agencies because anyone running ads needs appointment
man,
setting.
yeah, yeah.
So we're their best retention tool.
Yes.
So pretty much anyone who runs ads on digital marketing is a great fit for us because we do have that speed to lead
Yeah.
of calling within 5 minutes or less, following up consistently. And then another aspect of it that we didn't discuss yet is we also handle text communication through automation platforms.
Wow.
So a lot of marketing agencies work with a particular software
Okay.
that can execute automation sequences very seamlessly. So it sends out drip campaigns, text, email, and there's a whole slew of things we can do with it.
So you all will build out these campaigns on your end. Now, are these just follow up on leads, or these can be these appointments? Because I know that my daughter, she had a orthodontist appointment last week, and so I'll get texts reminding me, and then I'm opt in, hey, yes or no, are you going to make it?
Yep.
Are you all doing those kind of things, or more like first contact kinds of, or both?
So we're actually not building out those accounts because that's a function of the marketing agency.
Gotcha.
So when someone works with a marketing agency who's running digital marketing ads, part of their process is to set up that sequence and that software. What we do is we handle the responses.
Gotcha.
So if somebody answers back an open-ended question that's there to nurture them, we're on the other side of that text message. So the scene would be somebody's at work, they're scrolling, they opt in to something they're interested in. They get a call, send it to voicemail because they're at work, but they get a text message a few minutes, a second or two later at the same time. They can answer the text message. So we're responding to that message to nurture them, get them qualified, booked, or coordinate a call for when that person's available.
Yes.
So it opens up another channel so that we don't lose any opportunities.
Wow. I'm just blown away at not only the amount of money that you're making your clients, but at how much money clients are losing or companies are losing by not having these kinds of systems in place.
Yeah.
I mean, this sounds like a no-brainer to basically bring on a company, your companies to do this. And like you said, you're a hero to the marketing, or you're making the marketing company the hero because their leads are actually converting.
Yeah.
'Cause there's nothing worse than, you run these campaigns or this video is killing it, but no one's there to actually answer the phone. So you don't get the case study.
Right.
And then also taking the medical facility, I would imagine that you're taking a lot off of their plate in a good way, because I don't know about you, but it's frustrating when you're at a business and you're right there in front of them, but they're on the phone. And so you can take that away from them so they can do their job better, be more client facing. Is that kind of what you're hearing from your
Absolutely.
clientele?
So I talk to med spas all the time, doctors' offices, chiropractic offices, and one of their biggest complaints is either they're having a hard time finding, training, and keeping good front desk staff, or they have great front desk staff, but they're so busy doing all of the things in person in the office that it's hard to manage the phones and it's virtually impossible to follow up on leads.
Right.
And so that's where we can fill that gap. So what we do in those cases are, if your front desk person can get the phone, great. If they have nothing else going on, you're paying them to be there. Leverage that. But if they're not available because they are servicing someone face-to-face, which would be a priority, then they can ignore the phone and it'll roll over to us. So after 2 rings unanswered, it'll come to us, and then our dedicated team answers as if we're right there so that we can seize that opportunity and get that appointment booked. And then, of course, the lead nurturing is super important. Like the timing on that is very important. And imagine getting leads every day, they accumulate.
Yes.
So you have to keep track of who you're following up with and stay on top of all of those. So we have all of that built into our systems through automation and just processes.
Yeah.
So for us, it's very seamless, but in office, it's chaos.
That is fantastic. I'm just loving that. So now I may have missed this as well. Do you all do email campaigns as well, or are you just doing text and calls?
So our main function is texting and calling.
Okay.
But the automation software that the marketing agencies deploy does also nurture via email. So occasionally people respond, and through the same platform that we use, which is Go High Level, we can respond to emails and we respond to text. But people are much more likely to respond to a text message, pick up a phone call, make a phone call than they are to respond to an email, especially like a marketing email.
Totally. What else do you want people to know about dedicated office solutions as far as what we did not cover today, which was a lot, but what else do you guys do that maybe we didn't cover?
Well, we stay, we're masters of our trade, so we don't deviate too much and do a lot of things. We actually have a saying in office that just because we can doesn't mean we should.
So good. I wish I could steal that. Go ahead.
We have to remind ourselves that we're getting pretty good at it. And that way we can stay focused on the things that we're really, really great at. But I think what a lot of business consider is a VA, and some of them to do what we do want to go to maybe offshore, overseas. They look at the cost, but I think that the cost not considered is the technology, the training, the oversight, the QA, all of the, things involved with managing a person, having just one person where all your eggs are in one basket, and if their internet goes out, they have a bad storm, they disappear, they need a day off, they get the flu, you're out of business. And so having a full service turnkey solution that you don't have to manage is really priceless for a business. And so, I think that when people understand that that is an option, it is really, a pleasant surprise.
No, absolutely. And I can also see how someone could be, even a solopreneur and want to have the optics that they are a larger company, that they can, because there's a lot of IT companies out there that can run on 1 or 2 or 3 employees, right? But they want to appear to where they can, service larger companies, and there's software where they can manage that, to where if you're just answering the phone, hello, then you just automatically sound small. And we can't take it. But if it adds a professional layer when you have a company like yourself answering the phone professionally as their business, because you should never really be able to get to the owner anyway. And that's a telltale sign, like, oh, they're too small. So I bet that even if a solopreneur is out there, you have 1 and 2 employees, this would be great for the overall perception of the size of your business as well, to hire Adi's company, Dedicated Office Solutions. I should know this, but quickly, like, what made you start this business?
So, at the time when this business concept was conceived, I actually owned a mixed martial arts gym in New York. And the idea it came about where it was not cool to work at home at that time. It kind of was when you were, like, if you were small and you couldn't afford an office in the year 2000, you worked at home. So the concept started as, let's give people an address in New York. It's more prestigious, so they can be in their garage in Kansas and, look like a big company. And to your point of what you said about not looking like a solopreneur or a one-man show, our first little slogan was, portray the image of a large corporation overnight. And so we'll give you this front office staff who can become a buffer for you and to elevate the perception and the optics of your business. So it started out that way. We got phone software, started giving people numbers. I had sales training because I was already, 22 years old, a business owner. I was teaching martial arts, selling martial arts. I owned a school. And so I was like, well, if I'm going to answer phones for people, we'll give them a phone number, we'll give them an address. I can just sell for them. And so it kind of snowballed from there, where we just wanted to do more than anybody else was doing. And so we evolved as technology evolved, because it was kind of the beginning of everyone being online. It wasn't like it is today by any means. And then, I got my first call center in Brooklyn, over in Dumbo, is by the Brooklyn Bridge. And we got huge space, and we staffed up, and we built the business. And then in 2011, moved to Texas and rebranded and just kind of built it up. And then, like I said, 6-7 years ago, when digital marketing was really really booming,
Right.
we started putting a lot of focus towards lead follow-up, lead nurturing, outbound dialing, and then now we're, doing all the things we used to do, but also doing all the outbound.
That's incredible. I just love hearing the origin stories.
Yeah,
So that's great, and you've done a great job, ever since, and that's incredible.
it's fun.
So if there is a service business out there and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we have problems. We need to call her." What's the best way for them to get in touch with you all, and then kind of what's the process? Like a discovery call? What does that look like?
Absolutely. So, if you are a service-based business, if you have a brick and mortar, or if you're a digital business, if you struggle with missing phone calls, if you want to call leads, follow up with your marketing, or just need any support with communicating with your prospects, you can visit our site, dedicatedoffice.com. From there, you can book an appointment directly with me. And then we can talk about your business, learn what your needs are, what your struggles are, what your goals are, and then how we can help. And then from there, we can decide on the best plan moving forward and get you set up for an onboarding and go from there.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Adi, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on. I learned so much more about your business and offerings, and we've referred stuff to you guys in the past, but now I'm going to be like, you don't understand. You're insane if you do not go this route. So really appreciate you sharing your tips and knowledge. And if you're out there, like she said, if you own a service business, this is a have to. You have to get this right, because not only are they answering your phone calls, but they're going to be following up on the leads. And we all know that the fortune's in the follow up. So contact them. I'll have everything in the show notes. Thank you again for listening. And remember, we are 12 Media Group, where we put your brand in focus.